Okay. All right, let me get myself situated here as our time has arrived. This over a little bit. There we go. And we're going to get started here, guys. So, to all the latecomers, you know, the early bird gets the worm. And we're going to get started right now. Oh, let me make sure that I have our recording ready to rock and roll. Actually, let me just check on this real quick. And Skype, I don't need. So let me close that out. Nothing worse than an annoying Skype call. All right, let's see here. All right, we're good to go with our recording. All right. All right, guys, so we're going to officially start right now. I am going to try to keep this to an hour or an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to move through things. And like I said just a few minutes ago, today's training is about conversion, it's about tracking your advertising, and it's about split testing across your funnel. Like I said, these topics are not the most glitzy of topics, but they are absolutely the bread and butter in any direct response marketing business, whether your business is an offline direct mail business or your business is what we do, driving traffic online, building relationships with prospects, and driving sales or driving recruits for either our information marketing businesses or our home business opportunities. So I really think today is going to be one of the most important classes that you can attend. So I want to thank you guys for being here, and I want you to be as proactive as possible, because these are skills that you will use for the rest of your marketing life. And I can tell you, I have trained with some really smart people, and I think I've got a little bit of experience under my belt at this point as well. And it doesn't matter what sort of business you're in, it always comes down to do these two things: tracking where you're spending money or spending time to see if it's worthwhile in terms of an ROI perspective, and split testing until you hit the conversions that you want to with your lead capture page, with your sales video, or with your recruiting efforts, and always thinking in terms of new things you can do. I mean, I love being out there and just seeing new banner ads or new text link ads or new landing page formats, because it gives me new inspiration. And the only way to know if that new inspiration means anything to your business is to test it properly, to track it properly. So that's what today is all about. So today what I want to start out with, guys, is just a question. Are there any questions that you guys have in terms of tracking and conversion that you want to make sure that I go through? If so, please enter them now. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our agenda. Our agenda for today is I'm going to go through what tracking really means. We're going to start with tracking first. And I'm going to give you an analogy that I want you really to remember when it comes to tracking. From there, I'm going to talk to you about certain situations that you can track your advertising within, that you should be tracking your advertising within. And then we're just going to jump in, and I'm going to show you some different scenarios, say in my Hyper Tracker account over here, which is what I currently use to track stuff, where I'm tracking different situations, and I'm going to show you how to set up your tracking and how to track different things yourself so that you can always quantify your efforts out there online. After we talk about tracking, we're going to get into split testing and increasing your conversions. And there we're going to move over to the website optimizer tool, which you can see right here. And inside the website optimizer tool, I'm going to show you some of the cool split tests that we've done over the years, and just talk to you about different situations that you should be split testing, as well as showing you how to set up a simple website optimizer split test yourself. I think sometimes people get kind of overwhelmed with terms like split testing and tools like this, but I think if we walk through it together and I can show you how to actually implement this into what you're doing, you'll see that it's very easy, and it's something that you'll have a lot of fun with. You know, I love split testing stuff. So let me see what questions we have as I've been yapping along. Yes, so we got a question about using certain tracking tools like Hyper Tracker. as a URL rotator if you're running co-ops? Absolutely. I've used it for running co-ops, and I'll show you an example inside of my HyperTracker account. So that's absolutely possible. So what I also want you guys, so that's the only question that we have about tracking and conversions before I get started here. If you've got questions, send them to me now or forever hold your peace. And I'm marking these down so I don't forget them as we go through. I actually had co-ops on the agenda, so Al Yassa, you're reading my mind, buddy. Okay, so Tag has a question that's pretty specific. I'm setting up another product funnel and I'm wondering what you think is best. On the sales page, should I send people right to the shopping cart, or should I set up to have an opt-in before they go to the cart? All right, so this is a very specific marketing funnel question. And Tag, I'm going to write that down and I will answer it for you. But as you probably already know, Tag, my answer is always to test. And so that's why this training is so important. But it's a fun question. So I'm going to share with you my insight and I'll show you what we've done and what we've learned. So hopefully it'll give you some good ideas to go out there and play with. So funnel, order form, versus opt-in. Got it. All right, let's scroll through a couple more questions here. Okay, so how do you use ClickTail or Woopra in your capture squeeze page? So I wasn't going to go through ClickTail today, but Scott and everyone else, if you're listening in, I don't know what Woopra is. I've never used Woopra, honestly. But what ClickTail is it's a video screen capture software that's actually pretty cool. What you can do is actually spy on what your visitors are doing when they come to your website, and you can make changes to your website based on what you see them doing. So we've used it in creating our own maximum leverage funnel, and we've definitely hammered out some of our own hurdles using ClickTail. So, you know, Scott, I mean, honestly, all you do is you put the tracking code on there and you wait for some traffic to come through and you look at it. But if you've got specific questions as we go through, by all means, throw them at me and we can get into a little bit of that. All right, so let's go through some of the other questions we may have. All right, so Kim is asking a question about traffic exchanges. And in terms of traffic and traffic exchanges, that's not our topic for today, but I'll give you a really quick answer, two really quick answers. Number one, test it. So it's a prime opportunity to take what we go through in our tracking section today and see for yourself if traffic exchanges are effective. What I have found personally in our business is there is a little bit of life. You will find some decent prospects there, but if you're actually clicking around yourself, doing all that sort of stuff yourself inside of the different traffic portals, traffic exchange portals, it's not worth the time. So that is the answer. Okay, so AdBright and Google Analytics. So not really a question, kind of statements. AdBright is a traffic network where you can drive traffic from, kind of like Google AdWords is. Google Analytics is a tool you can use to see where traffic is coming from. Oh, so these guys, so Scott's going through and looking at all the different tracking codes I have on my website. All right, I see where you're coming from. All right, so let's jump in. We're gonna start out with HyperTracker. I've written down a couple questions. Again, don't be bashful. If you've got questions as we go through, throw them out. I'm gonna check over to the question section, you know, as we go through here. So feel free to throw out whatever you're thinking. I know for me, if I don't say something immediately, I might forget it 2 seconds later. So if you got the idea, type it out, send it to me. Then there's no way you can forget it, and I'll make sure to find it. So I want to start out with an analogy as far as tracking is concerned. Your business is comprised of just a few simple things. Number one, if you're in a home business opportunity, we already know the niche that we're in, right? We're looking for people that want to change their lives, want to potentially get out of their job like I did, or that want to add an additional income stream that's residual. So we already know the niche that we're in, and so our job is first to find out where they hang out, put our ads in front of them. When they click on our ads, whether it's a free article, that's how they're seeing us, or a pay-per-click ad on a platform like AdBright, like Scott brought up, that's targeted traffic once they click our link. After they click that link, we send them to a landing page like we have over at MaximumLeverage.com. They opt in, and then the real work begins. We begin to email them, build a relationship, and give them opportunities to trust us and potentially either buy an information product that we may have that can help them solve a problem or move towards a goal that they have, or gives them a chance to join our opportunity, okay? In those processes, the most important things are getting the traffic, building the relationship, and then getting the conversion. Right now, we're talking about, when it comes to tracking, the traffic component of what we're doing, and potentially the conversion component, because I'm going to show you places where tracking can be employed on the front end where you're getting traffic, where tracking can be employed to improve your results in terms of your communication and your relationship building aspect of your business, and conversions. One thing that I want to throw out here, I wrote it down last minute before we got started, is as you're marketing and you're testing different things, changes that you make to any part of your funnel affect everything that comes after. So what I do, in other words, here on my landing page, guys, whether my landing page looks like this or like something else, definitely has ramifications, not just for how many leads I get, but for how many of those leads that I get actually buy, and if they buy stuff after. So these are all things that we can't see unless we track. And tracking, the analogy I want to give you is, I want you to think about yourself as, and I've used this analogy, I can't even remember how many times. So I've used it over the years, now that I think about it, maybe 4 or 5 years now. But I want you to think about yourself as a person who really loves archery. For whatever reason, you're super passionate about this sport. And anything you can buy to learn to get better at archery, you're buying it. You're getting all the books, all the videos, you're getting yourself the best coaches, and you're also getting yourself the best equipment. And you practice, you got yourself ready, you go to your first archery tournament, you're ready to win, you're excited because this is what you want to do for the rest of your life. And you pull up to that first target. Before you can shoot off your first arrow, someone puts a blindfold on you, and the target starts moving all over the place. Now, in that scenario, my question is, how likely are you to hit your bullseye? How likely are you to even hit that target? And my answer would be not very likely. Now, you might hit it once, right? You might get lucky and hit that target somewhere one time. But how likely are you to hit that target successively with a blindfold on and with it moving all over the place? Not very likely. And that's exactly what marketing is like if we're not tracking what we're doing. So anything that you do to drive traffic, that very first component of your business, you want to put yourself into the practice of tracking it. Because if you're not tracking, you have no idea where you're driving results from. And you'd be surprised at how many different people I've done private consultations with. We're all asking questions like, how many leads are you getting per day? And some people will kind of shy around it and give me some sort of a figure. And some people will know right off the bat, I get 42 leads per day on average. But when I ask them, where are those leads coming from? That's when things get shady. And that's the problem right there. If you don't know where your traffic is coming from, if you don't know where your traffic is coming from that's converting into leads, how can you build anything? So this stuff sounds super simple, but it's one of those things that you must discipline yourself to do, or else you'll get to a place where you might be having some success, but you have no real idea why. Let's say you had 2 or 3 different newsletter ads going out at the same time. You've got some articles out there, and you've got a banner. You're not tracking. Where's the results coming from? We don't know. So that's where solutions like HyperTracker come in. Now, HyperTracker is what I'm using right now for the majority of our tracking for what I do with Maximum Leverage as a business. I also have a couple other tracking platforms that I use, and one that I'm actually looking into is a solution called Tracking 202, because it's got a lot of cool features, and it's something that a lot of people love. It's free, so I haven't played with it yet, but I've heard a lot of really good stuff about it. So you're going to see me playing with it, adding some videos to the inner circle, because if I can find a solution for you guys that's free and is really good, that's the best scenario in the world. But right now, what we're using is HyperTracker for the majority of what I do in terms of tracking stuff for Maximum Leverage. And as you guys can see here, I've got all different types of stuff in here. So I was asked about traffic exchanges. So here you can see me tracking my traffic exchange traffic, right? 59,124 clicks, 1,423 leads, 46 sales, $1,269.72 generated. So there's some life there. Now, this right here is over a couple of years. So, not a ton of life. You're not building a business off of traffic exchanges, but you'd be surprised. I mean, who wouldn't like an extra 1,400 leads over the course of a year? I'm raising my hand. I want that. So you guys can see that I've got scenarios like that. I've also got different domains that I've driven traffic through, different newsletters. Self-growth right here is a newsletter, and you guys can see some of the front-end conversions didn't turn out profitable in this iteration. You can see CPA networks that I've tracked. You can see this is actually a banner ad. You guys can see all sorts of different stuff in here. Here's a newsletter ad that I sent out, a solo ad that did turn out profitably. Spent $500, made $1,400. I always love when that happens. So you can see in all different sorts of scenarios. Let me show you guys a couple more scenarios. These are actual tracking links that we're using throughout our funnel. So video sales letter. So these are links that I'm sending people in an email to the video sales letter. How often, with this particular test that I did, how many people were buying? So this little test showed me what I was getting. Let's see what else we got here. Testimonial videos. So video testimonials in sequence, sending people to this link. What am I really doing? How many sales am I really driving? So let's see. Testimonial rotator, traffic sent, sales volume. You guys can see all different types of stuff. So the reason I show you guys this is I practice what I preach. Here's a couple different tracking links for article marketing. Here's one, here's another one. This one generated $2,000 in sales. This one generated $4,000 in sales. So even a little bit of Facebook stuff, although Facebook's actually one of those situations where it's kind of hard to track. It's getting easier, but when I did that one, it was kind of hard to track. So I'm going to check in with you guys. You guys get the feel. You understand. You can track everything. You can see that I kind of like to track everything. You should too. So in the question and answer box, say, Dagan, I'm following you. I'm going to track everything that I do. All right, give me some feedback, guys. Track like a beast. Yeah, man, great reminder. All right, good. I want more people to give me some responses. Scott and Tag are here with me. All right, thank you, Robert. Good stuff. All right, so guys, continue to be proactive. Have a conversation with me here. We can't all talk at once, but at least if you text me, we can have a conversation. I can see that you're following along. So how do you track stuff? So the first thing that you do to track stuff is you choose a tracking solution. I use HyperTracker, so it's one that I definitely recommend to use yourself. Like I said, I'll be looking at others like Tracking 202 since it's free and I've heard great things about it. And if I go in and play with it and I like it, then I'll also be recommending that. But you can't beat HyperTracker. Super simple to use, and you know, you'll use it for years at a time. So I recommend, if you don't have anything now, starting out with something like HyperTracker. The first thing that you want to do once you get your account is you want to integrate what you're tracking with your website. So a rule when it comes to tracking is throughout your funnel, the way that you track successful actions is you put what are called tracking pixels throughout your funnel. So after a person opts in, you'll put a little pixel on the thank you page, and I'll show you that in our funnel. After they opt in, and that tracking pixel will fire and it'll say, okay, now you've got a lead. So you need to put your tracking pixels throughout your funnel. After a person buys something from you, again, you have a tracking pixel on the page that your now customer reaches right after they purchase, and that'll say, okay, this person just bought and they gave you $27 or $50. And so after every single successful transaction that you want to track, an opt-in or a purchase or someone moving through pages of your funnel for recruiting, you want to have a tracking pixel. And this goes globally throughout your funnel. So if you've got several different products and services, you want to be tracking, putting these little tracking pixels on the pages after the successful transaction all the way through. The reason is, let's say you're doing a newsletter ad with a high-scale newsletter with millions of people on it. You pay $1,500 for an ad, and you drive 1,000 or 2,000 leads from that little ad. And let's say you don't break even on your front end thing, but you decide to do a special promotion the next week. Well, you might double your money because of that special promotion in your funnel from that traffic source, but you don't know unless you've got the tracking pixel there too. And the cool thing about HyperTracker or any good tracking solution like HyperTracker is your pixels are going to be cookied on the person's machine pretty much forever until they clear their cookies. And most people like me, I don't clear my cookies that often. The only time I do is when there's an issue or I'm trying to like test something myself as far as tracking. So you're going to get very accurate data from these tracking pixels, but it's important that you may be starting out with just a lead capture page and a thank you page. Great, you put your one tracking pixel there. But every time you add something new where there's a successful action you want to track, you got to put that tracking pixel there, because it's going to tell you if you spend money somewhere, if you made it or you didn't, right? That's why we can see the greens and the reds in here. And the game is, the more greens you can create, the bigger your business will grow. So tracking pixels are important. So the way that you create tracking pixels is you click on the little button called integration. And if we are tracking an action like a lead, then we click action in the little button there. And then we say ML newsletter sign up, right? And if we want to give ourselves a reminder of what this tracking pixel is all about, we'll say this is for after people sign up to my maximum leverage newsletter. It shows me new leads. Okay? So that's basically just for you. No one else is going to see any of this stuff, but this is for you to remember. Product value, so this is where you're stating how much that lead is worth. So if you're just tracking new leads and you're not getting paid for the leads, then what I do is I just put 0, 0, okay? So tracking actions like newsletter signups, you just put a 0 in there. You click show HTML code, and you'll get this little pixel. You can either use a JavaScript version or the image, the little image version of it, and you just copy and paste it. Let's go to TextMate. Here's what it looks like. It's just going to come out as one line like that. And I'll show you what this looks like on our maximum leverage letter, because after people opt into our landing page, our lead capture page and maximum leverage, they then go to our sales video. So we have a little tracking pixel there, and I'll pull that up for you so you can see exactly where I put it. Actually, let me disconnect and reconnect here. Right now I'm going into a program called Transmit, and this is an FTP program, which literally means file transfer protocol, but all it does is it lets you take stuff that's on your computer and put it on your hosting account. So I'm just looking at all the different stuff I have on my maximum leverage hosting account as I'm scrolling through here, and I'm looking for, you can see, remember I said I test a lot of different stuff. When you get to split testing, you'll see some of this. These are all different versions of my maximum leverage sales letter, sales video actually. It started out as a letter that I've tested. And so I'm looking for the basic version. So this is going to pull up the HTML code for us for my sales letter. And if you scroll down to the bottom, we can see all these little tracking codes that I have. You can see down here, so you guys can see this is our conversion tracking code from one of our tracking programs. This is our Google conversion code for when I'm doing split tests, so I'll come back and show you that. This is another tracking code. This is another tracking code. But if I was going to add that little tracking code that we just created, I would just go in here and add it, right? Now whenever someone opts into my maximum leverage lead capture page and click save, so now it's on there. Now whenever someone opts into my maximum leverage lead capture page and they get to the sales video, our little tracking pixel is going to fire off, and it's going to tell me that I just got a new lead, okay? So that's all you need to do. So let me go back over here and show you how to do that for a sales conversion. So let's say we're going to track our maximum leverage trial peoples, new trial peoples. Horrible grammar. I have horrible grammar. Maximum leverage sale. Now, the only bad thing about using an external tracking program like this, guys, is if you have a continuity business like Maximum Leverage, the Inner Circle, as a monthly subscription. So all that HyperTracker can track is that initial transaction. So a lot of the reds, I showed you guys, there were some things you saw in reds, they weren't actually unprofitable, but they were unprofitable just by that first transaction. So let's say I had the maximum leverage of $1 trial going on. Well, it only tracks a $1 sale. But after 14 days, the person's rebilled, and then there's actual money that's made, and it's not seen in here. So you have to do a little bit of math once you get to that stage of your business. But you can do that math much more effectively when you have these pixels in place. So maximum leverage sale, this is for the 30-day $97 trial. This tracks sales, but not the long-term recurring revenue. Product value, so it's not just a lead, people are actually buying something, and we put $97, okay? and I'd take this script again, this little code again, and then I'd plop it in the code on the page after someone purchases maximum leverage. And again and again, the same process for the different one-time offers that we have in our funnel, and additionally for the different products that we have in our funnel. So there's a tracking code that's after the postcard recruiting sales video that shows how much we earn in that scenario. So we can look inside of our tracking account and say, okay, someone just bought postcard recruiting from this newsletter that we did 2 months ago. We thought it was unprofitable, but now that we just did this in promo, we just broke even and made 20%. Makes sense and looks good for us to go and do that again. Okay. So guys, does that make sense in terms of setting up your tracking? So Scott is asking, is HyperTracker self-hosted? HyperTracker is not self-hosted. It's hosted, you know, on the website, on HyperTracker's hosting itself. And Scott, so let me tell you about this. So this is a little advanced thing, guys, and I hope you guys don't mind when I get into a little bit of this advanced stuff. I see a few questions coming up. I'll answer those. The reason why I typically personally don't like self-hosted tracking solutions is because of a situation that happened to me when I had my offer in the CPA networks. And I'm getting ready to go do some more tests in the CPA network. So you guys are going to see some cool videos on that in the inner circle as well. But when we had just a boatload of traffic coming to the website, driving, 2,000, 2,700 leads per day, all of a sudden, I wake up on a Sunday morning and I go to check the site and it's been totally hacked. And the only place we can find that a person could have gotten in to hack that particular website was through our self-hosted tracking solution. So since that happened, I totally moved away from self-hosted tracking, Scott, and I use HyperTracker. Maybe I'm being a little skittish, but when you're driving 2,700 leads per day, and you're paying, I think $2.75 is 75 cents is what I paid for those. So that's a pretty hefty daily bill you're paying. It messes up the flow. It messes up your chi when the system goes down. So that's what kind of pushed me away. HyperTracker is not self-hosted, and that's my story on why I personally have chosen not to use self-hosted solutions in my business since that happened. Could you use HyperTracker? So Jenny is asking, could you use HyperTracker on Google AdWords, or they won't allow you to do that because the URL is different from the landing page domain? No, Jenny, you absolutely can use HyperTracker in Google AdWords. Here's the rule. Your display domain has to be the website that a person goes to, and your destination URL has to end up eventually at the same place. So if your HyperTracker URL drives people to the same place that your destination URL, your display URL is, you're good to go. So you can absolutely use HyperTracker. For a lot of our Google AdWords tests, we used a different solution called W3 ROI, which is a little bit more costly and a little bit more complicated. But yeah, you can absolutely use HyperTracker. And the way that you should do that, if you want to track specific campaigns, is you use what are called specific ad groups. You would use what are called sub-campaigns. And I'll show you guys how to do that when we get into setting up tracking links. Very good question. Jenny, I haven't played a ton with, so Jenny's asking, do you have any idea of the best way to track conversions on Facebook PPC? And my answer to that is, Jenny, I haven't played a lot with Facebook pay-per-click. I played some with it, but the way that it was when I played with it, if you guys have noticed, their platform changes a lot. It wasn't easily trackable. It looks a lot more, it looks a lot easier to track these days. So I'm going to be doing some more Facebook stuff because I know a lot of people want to see the insides and outs of that. So I'll put some videos in there. I'll play with HyperTrack and I'll show you what I find out. All right, so we have another question here. Oh, we got a lot of questions coming in. So I'll go through these real quick, and then we'll move back on schedule. John, I can see you. John Krill, I can see you here. Okay, John, your question is, John, you were right after Jenny. How important is it, Dagan, to register at companies like Alexa, IntelSeek, and the like to be a part of, I guess, to get more exposure? I don't. In our business, I've never registered with any of those websites. Alexa just ranks your website based on how much traffic it gets. So you put in your domain into Alexa, and if you're getting any significant traffic, they're going to find you. There's no need to register there. But in terms of our business, we've never registered. I mean, registering a business, unless it's a search engine optimized website, and you're doing that registration for one-way linking purposes, I mean, there's no real reason. So it's not a big deal. So Greg, are these webinars recorded? Absolutely. Yep, John, I just saw your question. So, Janine, I hope I said that right. Does it matter where you add your tracking code? In general, it doesn't really matter. I tend to put my tracking code, I'll go back over to it. This is a tracking code and this is the page. I add my tracking code at the bottom of the page. So if you'll see here, this is the end of our maximum leverage page. This is after, in fact, I'll go over to the page so you can see. I just don't want to go there because it pulls up a lot of noise. And I don't feel like watching myself talk. So here's our sales video. And all of our tracking links are like down in here. You just can't see them because they're invisible. In your home business so, using just the internet. In general, that's how you do it. In the next few minutes, I'd like to share with you. So hopefully that answers the question. And one thing just to keep your tracking codes clean is what we like to do, and we don't always do this, but what I'll typically do is I'll put in a little code like this. Oh, there it is. We got it here. Begin conversion tracking. So at the very end of the website, at the very end of all the text that people will actually see, I'll put in a little code like this, begin conversion tracking codes, and then in between all of that stuff, that's where all my tracking codes go. So as you can see here, it just keeps the website a little bit cleaner. So just a little tip. So that's how we do it. All of our tracking codes are between these codes, and our codes are at the bottom of the website underneath all the text that you can see. So Al, that's crazy. Al says, I saw your ad in Opportunity World magazine, the really long ad. Can you show us the stats for that? Yeah, Al, and honestly, that ad did not do very good. So what Al's referring to, and this is just a little fun tidbit, so I have no qualms with going in and showing this, is a space ad that I placed in an offline magazine, just as kind of a fun test, just to see what would happen. And let me go up here. Let's go to offline ads. You can group your stuff so you can pull it up easier. So yeah, Al, here's the results. Depressing. I spent about, excuse me, I think I'm gonna sneeze. I spent $1,500 on the ad, got 234 clicks, and 1 lead. Not the best results. So those are the results for that particular ad. I won't be placing another ad in that magazine. So yeah, those are the results. So Charles is asking, could you use your affiliate link in Infusion to track? Absolutely. If I wanted to, that's a good workaround. So what Charles is asking is if I really wanted to track lifetime conversions as well as the number of sales that we're getting, should I redirect my tracking link, and I'll show you guys how to create tracking links in just a second, to an affiliate link inside a portal like Infusion. So that has a shopping cart component, and it's gonna track all of the money that is coming into the shopping cart. So you're gonna see how much money you've earned in terms of commissions. Now you just change the numbers if it's your own business, but you could Charles, do the exact same thing if you have Infusion and just set up like 100% conversion tracking link inside of your Infusion platform, and then you'd be able to see. So yeah, you could use that as well. Yeah, Scott said ouch on the Opportunity World Space ad. Yeah, he's glad you tested it, not me. Yeah, I mean, Scott, but that's the whole game, man. Right? Like you go out there, you spend your money, you test stuff, and sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't work as well as you'd like it to. And I really think that the majority of the value that I bring is when I go out there and I spend money, and then you guys can ask me stuff like Alyasa just asked, how did that ad do? And I can just kind of pull up those results. That's $1,500 that you didn't spend, and you don't have to spend on that space ad in that magazine because I did it and it wasn't really all that profitable. Yeah, I've done an email drop at JV Rocket, so um, I don't think I have the results in here. Maybe I do. I'll look for it a little later. I want to keep moving. Yeah, I did. Yeah, there's a website where you can do solo ads called JV Rockets that actually does have pretty good quality. Um, and Charles says he spent some good money there last year, and it does. I mean, I pulled some very good leads. It's expensive. I think it's like $2,500, something like that for an ad, but it works. Greg, thanks, man. Cool, 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 cool. All right, so I think we got to the end. William says he loves JV Rocket. Greg said, "How many brains do you have?" Looks like you have so much of this stuff tucked in there. Yeah, man, Greg, I've spent a lot of years at this point being a little internet pioneer and sharing what I've been learning. So appreciate that. So let's get back and let me show you how to actually create tracking links. Go back to these here campaigns, and let me go back to all campaigns. You can see everything. So yeah, guys, like some of these ads that you see, like this one didn't do very good. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't have my tracking set up. But sometimes when you see some of these ads, like for instance, let me see one of these here, like this one. Self Growth is a big newsletter. I like running solo ads with those guys. And as you can see here, it wasn't profitable from these statistics. But what these statistics don't show me is the recurrence. So you go back into your business and you do the math on that. And I'll guarantee you that this ad, even though it doesn't look like it was profitable, at the end of the day, it definitely was. All right. So how do you create tracking links? A basic tracking link is created simply by clicking the create button, putting in your campaign ID. So let's say this was a solo ad for a particular newsletter. So let's say that let's use this as an example. Let's say that I was selling newsletter ads to Maximum Leverage, and you had just bought a newsletter ad for me, and you were coming into HyperTracker to set up your tracking link to see how well that ad does for you. What you would do here is you would put in Maximum Leverage. Let's do Max Lev so we keep it short. Solo, and then probably put the date. So let's put like 5/15/11. So that way you know when it's going out. So this would be Maximum Leverage Solo ad. This is the full title. And then you put the date in so you know when it's going out. 5/15. 11. And for me, in terms of description, I'll typically put the same thing in there. If you know how large the list is, you might also put that in the description. This is just for your own memory, just so you can go back and remember for yourself. So let's say that this is going out to 160,000 people on Tuesday morning, if that day is a Tuesday, on Tuesday at 10 a.m. So now you can remember all the specifics. Group name, you don't, unless you want to organize things into a group like I showed you with that offline ad, you don't put anything there. But if we were going to do this as a group called like solo ads, we would just put something like solo ads in there. And then anytime we go to do a solo ad in a newsletter, we use that same group name. So then when we pull up all of our solo ad statistics inside of our tracking account, we can pull them up just by that group name. So that's all that does. Campaign track password doesn't matter. The only time you would ever use this is if you were sharing your statistics with a third party. So let's say that, for instance, I set up an affiliate program for maximum leverage with individual affiliates, and I said I was going to pay them $8 per lead. Well, instead of having to go in and create a whole new affiliate program inside of Infusion, I could just create a tracking link for that one guy, and we just share the stats and we agree upon the $8 per lead price, and then he could see the statistics, and once a month I just send him however much I own for those leads. That's the only time you would ever use this, when you're sharing data with a third party from inside of your platform. So campaign cost. Let's say I sold you that solo ad for I wouldn't do this, but for just $1,000. So that's where we put our campaign cost. If it was a pay-per-click situation, you would checkbox that, and you would put something like, 52 cents, 0.52 per click. So then it's going to track each click, and it's going to be a running cost that increases per click. So all pretty simple. Don't need to worry about this. I never change this. It's always once per session. And then wherever you're going to send traffic, that's what you put down here. So let's say I was sending this to maximum leverage. And that's all we got to do. Let's put that cost back. Then we click create campaign. This is called maximum leverage solo ad. And here's our link. Okay. So this is a link that we would use when we go and advertise. So if I pull up that link in the browser, and if I opt in, I don't know if this will work for me, but maybe if I send this to you guys, I'll send this link to you guys. Go to this link that I just sent you, opt in with either your real information or fictitious information, doesn't really matter, because the only thing I want to show you is when we come back and look in the tracking, you'll see all the different people that went over there and did it. So let's say I put my email address in, click continue. Now that click has been tracked.
You're about to discover the ultimate secret to creating lifelong financial independence.
Okay, so now if we go back to our campaigns, go back to the overview, and if any of you guys went and did that, we'll see how many people, how much traffic that got. All right, good. Here goes our first little ad that we created together. And you can see that 5 people have clicked, 4 people have opted in. And you can see all the math that goes along with that. Since we got 4 leads, that's $200 per lead is what we paid, or $250 per lead, and per click, since we've had 5 people go to the site, it's $200 per click. That would be a very bad ad if you were out there doing that in the real world. But you can see that as people go to your website, it's going to track, because we have our tracking code, and it's tracking by that little pixel that we put in. Okay? So really that's all there is to very basics of tracking. Now I want to show you guys some specific scenarios. Well, let me stop and ask questions first. Do you guys have any questions as we're going through here? And then I'm going to show you some specific situations to track in that you can use tracking to track things specifically. What are my categories? They're pretty much basic categories here. Ad groups, so pay-per-click, banner ads, cost per click. So these are probably Google AdWords. These are probably other pay-per-click engines. Email, so if I'm tracking stuff internally in my email, lead capture page split test, just a basic lead gen category. So this is probably, I created this way back. Maximum leverage, newsletter ads, offline ads, solo ads, team, so this is co-ops, and text links. So, you know, all the major categories that I'll typically do advertising in, except for I don't have PPV in here, and that's probably under this tab. So those are the categories. Greg, so Greg is asking, do you try to develop a naming convention to keep things straight in your head? Not really. I mean, I think when you spend money on an ad, or you're testing something that you're interested in seeing the results for, then you kind of tend to remember what it's about. And I know that, you know, on any of these things, if I go into them and I click it, I'll remember exactly what it's for. So not the most organized in that way, but I tend to remember what's important. All right, so let's see here. Do you find, so Greg is asking, do you find that copy styles vary from ad target to ad target, or you try to find that a given ad performs pretty much the same on different sites? Greg, good question. So I'm going to answer that question with a specific example here. I want to find it. Okay. So I had a YouTube, Greg, I had a YouTube promoted video that I had running and was doing really well for us. As you can see here, ton of clicks, over 1,000 leads. I think this was over a 2-month period, but just ridiculous sales conversions. I mean, 1,000 leads and 221 sales. That doesn't happen very often. So YouTube promoted videos was working very well for me. You know, some good money from that one traffic source. And what I was playing around with, which will answer your question specifically, is if we go here to the target URL and we analyze this for, let's say, a year, is I was testing different versions of my lead capture page specifically for YouTube promoted video traffic. Now, when it comes to like newsletter advertising, guys, this is the format of a lead capture page that you should absolutely always use. Simple, curiosity based. It's a fixed cost marketing media, so you want to pull as many leads out of it as you can, and this is what works. But YouTube promoted videos or any other pay-per-click engine is actually a different situation. So I wanted to test some of my different landing page versions to see which converted and made me the most money. So, and that's another good point. So good for bringing that up, because it's bringing up a lot of stuff that is important that you guys get. When you're tracking your advertising, so things that you're spending money on, guys, what matters most is not leads. So these are leads. These don't really matter. What matters the most is how much you make. How much you make at the end of the day. So I would much rather have a landing page that gets far fewer leads but makes me a ton more money. And so that's what you're looking at the end of the day. You're never making a decision on a particular version of a landing page or traffic stream based on leads. You're basically just saying, how much should I spend? How much should I make, right? And so when I was doing this YouTube video, promoted video campaign, these are all the different landing pages that I tested. and I'll show you guys a couple different ones. But just so you see, I mean, I started out, you can see I was just testing. Oh, actually, no, I was testing all of these, and I just chose the 2 that were working the best and pulled out all the rest. That's why the number of clicks is so different. But as I was testing these, you can see that, you know, some converted far better in terms of traffic to lead. This guy right here, 144 leads for 386 clicks. This one, only 91 leads for 366 clicks. So if I was going on pure lead conversions, this is what I want to use, right? Because this is going to get me way more leads. But in terms of making the choice for your advertising, you know, smartly, what you really are looking at is this. So landing pages vary greatly, and I'll show you guys a couple of these so that Greg can see, yes, it absolutely does matter. Different copy does matter. So let's take some very different results. 91 leads and 144, oh no, 160 leads and 91 leads, these 2 right here. So clearly in the YouTube promoted videos version, my standard landing page, the one that I just showed you guys, I'll pull it up again, was the highest converting from traffic to lead. Okay? But this was the lowest converting. So let me just show you this real quick. Oh, so we need to update this video. I'm glad we're not using it right now. This was a video right here. So it was headline, video, opt-in. Drastically different from the other lead capture page. Yeah, it's good I noticed that. So the landing page does matter. Now, in terms of which versions work the best, you can see that pound for pound, these 2 made us the most money. This one made $5,750 with an average sale value of $133.72. This one made us $8,859 with an average sales value of $88.59. So this one was our winner, and I'm actually curious to see if the video on this page is still up or not. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I got to go back and update our videos on these pages. So, but it was just a video. It was like the other landing page with a video, and then going straight to the opt-in. So good thing I'm not using these. I probably would have noticed this a lot sooner. But little changes like that matter a lot. Just a headline decreased conversions significantly over having the same video, which isn't here right now, and no headline. So all those different things you want to test, and all the different versions you want to test too. So the other version that I had over here, that got me the highest per sale value was this one. And so this had a video here too. So whatever video script we were using, yeah, we got to update. But you can see that it's drastically different. One is just a headline and an opt-in. The other one is a video, arrow opt-in. This is headline, video, and then full-on text. So you want to look at all that stuff. Greg, hopefully that gets down to the point you're looking for. Does it? So I'm just looking at what you guys are typing into me here. Let me go back here. And show you how to do this. So the question you might have right now is, if I'm testing a traffic source and I want to see which landing page is going to convert the best for me at the end of the day, where the money is what matters, how do I do that? The only difference that you do when you're creating a campaign is instead of one URL, you put in multiple URLs. So in this little section, I didn't just have my one maximum leverage URL. I had like 8 different versions of my landing page. And it was scrolling through when I sent traffic to my tracking link between all the different versions. And that's how I was able to see the difference in terms of what happened at the end of the day once a prospect saw any of those unique versions of the landing page. So remember what I said a little while ago, which is what happens in one part of your funnel can drastically affect what happens down the line. And this is a perfect example of that. What I just showed you is just changes in the landing page drastically affected. These are changes to the landing page way before a person buys anything. Drastically changed how often people bought and how much money they gave us when they did buy. Actually, this one was the one that won out overall in terms of value per customer. So everything matters. Everything matters, and that's why this stuff is so fun. You can't second guess anything, and everything's a fun puzzle. So let me go back and answer some of these questions. Greg is saying, oh, that's the question that we just went through. How do you determine, so Scott's asking probably about that, space ad that I did in the offline newsletter, not newsletter, magazine. And his question is, how do you determine why your campaign flopped? Quality of traffic versus how good the ad was. If it flopped, you try again with different ad, or do you write it off the bat as bad traffic? So Scott, it all depends on the scenario. It's a very good question. Now, the ad I did with the offline magazine in the home business niche, because I only got like 200 and some odd clicks for paying $1,500, I mean, I'm not that likely to go back and test again, because even if I doubled everything, I'm just getting 500 or 600 clicks, and that's probably not going to back all the way out. It might back out, but you know, it's really low on the results scale. So this is one of those places where you're subjective. Now, if I've got an ad and I think I'm close, I'll go back and play around. Or if I'm like 60% there, I'll go back and I'll play around if the traffic source is big enough and it makes sense for me to play with it. But it's a subjective call. I mean, when I look at results like I just showed you guys for that offline ad, I mean, there's no rush for me to go back there. It just clearly didn't work as well as I'd like it to. So test, not worth it. Now I know something that others don't. For what I'm doing, it's not the right place to put an ad, and maybe later when, you know, I have nothing else to do, I'll go back and try again. So that is my answer. It's all subjective, but subjective based on the numbers you bring in. So you're making decisions like a coach. All right, you know, in a football game, these guys are killing us on the left. We go to the right because we have statistics on that. So John is asking, I may have missed the answer, but is HyperTracker free? And can I track my own personal website, which is jcwisdom.com? John, HyperTracker is not free. It's like $20 a month. It's very inexpensive. So that's the answer. And yes, you can track. All you do is put your tracking pixels on the successful conversion pages, create your tracking link, send it to the page you want to send it to, and you're good to go. Okay, so repeat what I said. Al Yas is saying, repeat what I said about video traffic. So these are all the different landing pages that I tested specifically within YouTube and specifically for YouTube promoted videos PPC campaign. And what I found was that different landing pages, although given the approximate same amount of traffic, generated drastically different conversions to leads and conversions into sales where it really mattered. I mean, look at this one, 2 sales, clearly not going back there again. So you want to test different variations of landing pages for different types of traffic, like Greg was asking earlier. And these are the different pages I tested, and these are the different results that I got based on that. And what I got specifically isn't so important, guys. It's the practice, it's the principle here for you to visualize, see the results of, and then to go and have some fun with in your own business. So I'll follow up that question with, so send video-based traffic to a video landing page. You know what? That would probably be the right thing to equate to from this test. Yes, but it's about testing. The page that won was a page with a video, but the page that won the most in terms of average sales volume per customer was actually the page with the most text and the video. And if the video was working, you guys would have seen that it's a video that I've used in the past on my landing pages, and it was actually the same exact video that I had in the YouTube promoted video as my YouTube promoted video. So they saw the video, they clicked the link, and then they went to this page that had the exact same video playing, and they said, oh, I'm in the same place. So the more global rule, Al, is whatever you say in your message that gets a person to click, have that same message on the page they go to after they click. So in a newsletter ad, if this is my landing page, what I want my newsletter ad, my solo ad to look like is something like if this is my subject line, how to recruit 3,000 in 13 days. And I want to be really quick about it. If I just, in my solo ad, copy and paste the exact headline that I had inside of my actual, on my actual landing page, and then I put my link down here, what's going to happen is people are going to open that email. Actually, probably better if my headline actually mirrors it too. So, how to earn $4,954.55 per day. So how to earn $4,954.55 per day. So that's going to mirror what they see when they get the ad. And then they see the ad, and I give them the link to go to afterwards. They click the link, and then they go over to my landing page, and it shows them the exact same thing. That sort of mirroring of the same message from one place to the next creates a sense of I'm following the right path, and that's what's going to really up your conversion. So that's what happened with the video too. Since I was showing a video, they got to a page that had the same video, and they said, oh, this is right. So Charles, yes. Do I still use DMC? Yep. Okay. So Janine is asking, this may be a dumb question, but I'm not sure if you covered it. To test different versions of the capture page or landing page, would you just change the URL to, whatever the website is, /123.htm or HTML? Yeah. So remember I showed you over here, these are all different versions of my maximum leverage sales letter. And so if I'm testing one, I'm just naming it something slightly different, and then I'm testing it based on that. So yeah, that's what you do. You just name it something slightly different. No worries. All right. So let me go into a couple additional situations where you can use tracking to test some cool stuff. So we've covered testing different landing pages per traffic source, which is probably something you don't hear about a lot, but you can see the ramifications it has on your business. It's really important and really something everyone should be doing. If we go back to our overview, I want to show you guys what you would do if you were gonna use this for a pay-per-click scenario. What I would do if I was going to be kind of lazy about it, is I would, let's call this Yahoo. Yahoo doesn't even exist anymore, but Yahoo PPC, that would be my campaign ID. Yahoo PPC tracking. Group name, PPC, whatever we want to call it. Since it's pay-per-click, we would check the box and put in like 50 cents or 20 cents or 5 cents, whatever it is. And we'd have our landing page. But as you guys know, in a pay-per-click scenario, we have different ad groups. And one ad group might be Deagan Smith. And another ad group might be, Jonathan Budd or Maximum Leverage. So the cool thing about HyperTracker and the other tracking scenario solutions you can use is you can create what are called sub-campaigns. So for my Deagan Smith ad group, I would put Deagan Smith at the end. For my Maximum Leverage subgroup, I would put Maximum Leverage at the end. And then inside of that particular pay-per-click platform, you would use this for your Deagan Smith ad group. You would use this for your Maximum Leverage ad group in terms of sending the traffic. Then when you got back into your HyperTracker account or whichever tracking solution you were thinking about using, you'd be able to see how much traffic and how well that traffic converted specific to that Deagan Smith ad group or specific to that Maximum Leverage ad group. So that's how you would track pay-per-click campaigns and different ad groups. So you can see which sort of keywords tend to give you the best return on investment. And so that's like a poor man's way to track that stuff. And it will work and make you money. Okay, so let me show you another application for that right there. We talk about tracking our traffic, but very few people talk about actually tracking your emails, which is just as important. One email might convert like 3 times as well into sales as another email that you send out, but hard to track inside of your actual autoresponder. So what I typically do is in here inside of HyperTracker is I'll use that same sub-campaign philosophy that I just showed you, and I'll track my specific emails, and then what HyperTracker will do is it'll tell me, well, this sub-campaign, which goes to a specific email, produced this many sales, and this one produced this many sales. So then when I go back and I arrange my autoresponder series, clearly I want to put the email that made me the most money first, and the second most money second, third most money third, and all that sort of stuff. And you can continually track that way and always dynamically be moving your emails around in sequence so that you're always sending the messages that are making you the most money. So let me see if I can find one of my examples of that in here. I think probably there. Let me try this one. Let me go 2007. Let's go to sub-campaign. Oh, this might be the wrong, no, that's the wrong one. Okay. All right, let me go. Where is it? All right, let me show you guys this one instead. Not that one. Haha. Sorry, guys. Might be easier if I actually use this organization function the way that's supposed to be used. emails. Oh, darn it. I didn't even do that. All right. It's in the maximum leverage section. That's how I did it. Pre-case study, redirect the sales buddy. I believe this might be the right one. Let me make sure. So you guys getting a lot out of this? You enjoying it? And also, since this thing's taking a little while to load, if you've got questions, throw them at me. Oh, it's not that one. Long time to wait for the wrong one. So I forget who asked me if I keep myself organized. I do for the most part, but as you can see right now, here's one scenario where if I had been slightly more organized, it would have saved us some time. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. I think it's this one. Okay. So Tag, here you go, man. Tag's here with us right now, and I've got Tag's testimonial. This is actually a URL rotator scenario, but you can do the same thing with sub campaigns per email. So let's see if Tag made us any money. Tag, you only got me one sale, man. So you can see these are different testimonials that I'll send out in emails, and I'll show you what these look like. So you can see that. And what this is tracking is when I send people to Tracy's testimonial, how many sales do I get? And how much do I earn? When I send people to Sergio's, how many sales do I get and how much do I earn? When I send people to Ryan and Brian Tate, how many sales do I get and how much do I earn? So it looks like Ryan and Brian are the winners in this one. And so this is an application for in your email. So you could see if you were sending out an email where it was, hey, I just got this great case study about from someone that's a member of my XYZ. Check it out. And then you send them to whichever case study it is. Now you can track to see when people go to that specific case study how many sales it draws. And you can then infer, well, because this one got me the most sales, I want to put it first, right? And so that's what all this is. And you can see here, these guys, if I was to do that with this series, Ryan and Brian would go to the front, and then Sergio and Tracy, and then Anchor and Barbie, and then Jay and Tag. And then these guys, I wouldn't even throw out there. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Very good. So yeah, Tag said, "Oh man, I thought it would have done better." Yeah, no, don't worry, Tag. This was for like a very short period of time that I did this test. We've got other versions of you in testimonial that have made us a lot more money, and we thank you for it. Okay, cool. So those are the major. So if you're doing a solo ad, a banner ad, a newsletter ad, video marketing, you create a tracking link, you put in the cost, you put it out there, and then you track how it does. And if you want to get super fancy, you track different versions of your landing page to see which one drives you the highest dollar amount. In emails, you basically do the same thing. You create tracking links for specific either email copy or specific pages you're sending people to after they read your email, and you're tracking to see how much that particular email made you. or how much that page that you sent a person to and that email copy made you. So then you can start to organize your autoresponder series accordingly. Now, if you have, the last thing I want to go through with you guys is if you have, actually two things. I want to show you one example. Most people will not be able to use this, but I think it's still valuable because it'll show you that whole sub-campaign thing. If you guys get to the point where you're doing CPA advertising in a CPA network, where you're saying, hey, network, send me a ton of leads, I'll give you $2.75 per lead. It took me forever to figure this out. What's important in that scenario is tracking by sub-ID. So sub-IDs are individual affiliates within that affiliate network. Some affiliates will send you really crappy traffic, some affiliates will send you good traffic. And if you can eliminate the guys that are sending you thousands of leads that don't convert into anything and keep the guys that actually do convert, you've got a successful campaign on your hands. And believe it or not, I tried a lot of very fancy things to try to track sub-IDs. What ended up working out effectively for us was just using HyperTracker. So you guys can see these are some specific sub-IDs that I tracked. Where were they? Yeah, I never actually got to tracking those. Looking for cutting edge media. This isn't the one I want to look for. Let's do it this way. Well, let's just look at this one. This is a smaller network, ROI Rocket, but there's a bigger network that I did the same sort of sub-campaign testing in as well. This was several years ago, so it's going to take a little while for this to load up for me. But it'll show you, yeah, I need to go back even farther than that. These are specific sub-campaign IDs that I put in here. And I wish I had a better example. I just don't want to take up too much time. Per specific affiliates in that network, these are their numbers, and you can see that different affiliates brought different amount of leads. Like for instance, look at this guy. This guy literally just did something. He just did something that triggered a conversion, but he didn't even send any traffic. So this guy basically cheated the system. Had I paid out on this, would have sucked. This person actually did the right thing, so this is probably good quality traffic for this little test. And so that's how you do sub-ID tracking. And that's how you do it in the CPA networks. I think I actually have a video inside of Maximum Leverage where I go through this in depth. But I wanted to pull up a good one for you, and I'm kind of mad I can't find the one I'm looking for right now. Let me try this one real quick. I don't think it's the right one, but let me try it anyway. Yeah, no, it's not this one. Yeah. All right, sorry about that, guys. So the other scenario where you can use tracking, and I suggest you use tracking, is when you're doing like co-ops for your team. So one of the most important things you can do in your own marketing as you're building your team is when people come in, they're not going to know as much as you do. So you go out and you say, hey, let's pool our money together and advertise as a team. And this is another application of using your tracking program. You can see, let's go into this one. you can see that here's where I just did a small co-op with 4 different people on our team, and you know, we spent how much? Where's $2,140 and made $8,132 across the team. But we split that cost between us all, so it was like, you know, $500 a piece, and at the end of the day, we drove $8,000 worth of sales. And all you do is you put in each person's URL into the URL you want to send traffic to. At the end, when you're setting up your campaign tracking, collect money from everyone on your team, and then whenever you go out to drive traffic, whether it's banner ads, text links, newsletter ads, whatever you're doing, you send it all to that one tracking link, and that traffic is going to be delivered to everyone equally. So it's a great way to really leverage what you do in terms of team growth. It's how we grew our team the very first time to really big levels, and it was all under my control because I said, hey guys, you guys are brand new. I've been doing this a little bit longer, and I think I can help you. We're going to do a co-op. Send me your money. Everyone's going to get an equal share of the traffic. And then I set them up on a URL rotator, and the traffic got distributed, and our team just grew. All right, so Al Yas is asking about traffic swarm. Is it for affiliate offers, lead generation, or sales? So Al, when I'm doing traffic generation in my business, I'm always building my own list. So I'm sending my traffic swarm traffic to a landing page, just like I'm sending my newsletter ad traffic to a landing page. I'm building my list. That's the point of leverage. Get as many people as you can together so that you can have a conversation together via email. You send out one message to hundreds or thousands at a time, and that's where you can do all the affiliate selling or do all the recruiting. So no matter where I'm getting traffic from, I'm always trying to drive a lead that I can build a relationship with. So John, I see what you're saying, buddy. William is saying, would you ever go back and build another large team again? You know, never say never, but not right now. Not right now. There's too much else to do. What I see as an issue, William, and everyone else here in our niche, is since large scale traffic like Google is unavailable to our industry, a lot of people are hurting for traffic. And that's a bigger issue than just building one team for myself. And so that's the direction that I'm personally moving in, is creating some scalable traffic systems for the industry that people can tap into, kind of like a huge co-op. So that's the answer. All right, guys, I think we are done with our tracking section. Now, final tracking questions or forever hold your peace. Going once, going twice. Sold. All right. So let's move on and let's talk about split testing and optimization. Tracking, hypertracker, solutions like that, it's all about seeing where we're spending money and how much we're making back when we're spending it. The more greens we get, when we're looking at this stuff, the more greens we get when we look overall, the better. And the game is to get as many greens as we possibly can. This is all, yeah, let me reorganize this. Just by campaign name. The game is to get as many greens as you can. As you can see, along the way you get reds. That's marketing. But you can't get greens unless you're tracking what you're up to. So get out there, track what you do. Conversion optimization, split testing, is about making those greens bigger. how can I get more leads per the amount of traffic that I get? What can I do there? How can I convert more sales from the leads that I get? That's all split testing. That's all optimization. And so as we move forward, are there any questions on split testing that you want me to go through? So Mike, how do you set up a link rotator on tracking? All right, I'll answer that really quick. It's super simple. Inside of HyperTracker, and guys, throw me your optimization split testing questions as I'm going through this for Mike and anyone else that wants a quick review, is you create your tracking link. So you call this Mike's Co-op. Mike's, and then you give it a name like Mike's Team Co-op. And you give it a description. I'll just make the description the same so it can be quick. Group name, maybe you call the group team like we did before. And then you add your campaign cost. So let's say you're doing a large newsletter ad. And that large newsletter ad costs you $1,500. You put in that cost here. Or let's say you're doing like 20 different newsletter ads and each of them is $50. You add up the total amount and you put it in here. Then down here, what you would do is you would put in each member of your team's URL. So team member 1.com, team member 2.com, team member 3.com, team member 4.com. And then when you're driving traffic, after you create that, yeah, those are invalid links, so it's not going to let me do that. But you get the point on that, I think. Maximum leverage.com. Then once you get your link, if you're placing ads in different newsletters or different streams, like I have newsletters on the mind, by the way, guys, because I'm going back and I'm turning our solo ad training into a standalone product. So I've been working on the sales letter and the email series and all that sort of stuff. That's why I'm talking about it a lot right now. And if you were sending this out to different traffic sources, Mike, you would just use the sub-campaign function so you can track those individually. So let's go, this would be solo ad 1. So for the first solo ad that you paid, say, $100 for, you would send this link out. You would use this link to track it. For the banner ad that you placed for that month, you put banner 1 there. And then you would use this second link, the banner link, for the traffic you're driving from that banner. So that then when you go back, you're rotating the traffic between your different team members, and you can still track each individual traffic source in terms of conversions based on the sub-campaign function. So does that make sense? Okay, cool. All right, so we got a couple questions in here for split testing. Janine says, not really sure how to set up my pages for split testing. No worries, I'll show you how to do that. And William says, what single element has the biggest conversion increase for your offers when changed? And William, honestly, I got no idea. I have no idea. I think about split testing like this. There's certainly some things that I've changed that have had big increases, like the change from a text-based sales letter to a video sales letter. That was a big change. But I think of split testing as a practice as incremental increases, compounding into big increases. So I'm not generally looking for like 300% increases from changes. If I can eke out a 5% increase, so let's say that my sales letter is converting at 5% just as the control, and I make a change that gives me a 5% bump, well, you know, I'm not going to make a ton more sales, but every 1,000 leads I get, I might get 1 or 2 more sales there. But then when I make the next change, that's going to inch me up maybe another couple sales. So it's all about the incremental small things. There is no one big thing other than continual testing until you get into the range that you want to be in. And so it's a practice. All right, so let's go to Website Optimizer. So we've got tons of different tests here. And the things that you want to test, you can see there's pages here. We actually haven't tested anything in a while because our conversion for maximum leverage is actually converting very well. We've done all the testing to get it to where it needs to be, I guess. But you can see we've tested in our funnel things like our order form pages, our lead capture pages, clearly our sales video. In fact, let me find, based on the question we just had, one of those sales videos where I tested the text version of the sales video versus the video version the very first time. Here we go. Action Rose letter versus video. Classic results from 2009. You can see that the video here in the orange and the letter, text-based letter, is down here, which was a control in the blue. The letter outconverted, the video outconverted the letter by 34% or so. Now, I didn't let the test come to completion, so this is one of the rules when it comes to split testing that I follow. If I have a test that goes on for a significant amount of time and there's a trend like this one has never lagged this one, I don't necessarily care what the specific number is. I just know that this one is better, and I'll declare it a winner. Okay? So what will happen a lot of times is people will have split tests running forever when really what we're looking for in an A/B split test, which is when you're testing one version of something versus one other version of one particular thing, is you're looking for respective changes. Which one wins, not by how much. I don't care by how much so much as did I do better this time. And so when you're doing split tests, you'll see that this will come up. Should I stop it? Should I let it keep running? If I have a test that's like this over a period of time and the trend has always been that one's better than the other, I feel confident in stopping it. Now, am I playing by scientific rules? Not exactly. But if we're looking personally, I'm looking for trends more than specific scientifically quantifiable things. So that's one of the ones. Here's another one. This carried over to our sales video. People will ask us a lot of times, hey, how come you don't have a pause button on your sales video? Now, this is for our landing page video, but the same trend happened with the sales video. The reason is we split tested it compared to a sales video with the ability to pause and come back later, and it always won. You can see in this test on this little bad boy, and it actually was very, very close to statistical significance. There's a 44.8% conversion increase by letting that thing auto run, by letting the video auto run with no way to pause or stop. So that's why. And so a lot of things in our funnel that people will like ask me little weird questions about, like, why is it this way, or why isn't it this way, or why don't you change that? Like, I'll get a lot of questions about this. How come your lead capture page is like this? It's because I've split tested all that stuff and it's the best. So what works, we stick with until we find something better. Let's see if there's anything that's also interesting, that's more interesting. I don't remember what the answer to this one was. Okay. Oh, yeah, so here's something that's instantly usable for you too. So, should you have a video sales letter with a headline on top or not? This was our sales letter. or sales video without a headline and with a headline. And you can see here the same sort of trend. The headline version won. So that's why in all of our sales video letters, we always have a headline on it because it wins. Is this interesting for you guys? So here's the lead capture page version of that same test. Let's see if it was the same way. I don't think it was, honestly. Yeah, on the lead capture page, the no headline one. So these statistical things that you want to carry over and say, if it works here, it'll work there. You don't know until you test. Because if you just say to yourself, since headlines on sales videos gets me more sales, headlines on lead capture page videos should also get me more sales, or get me more leads. Same principle. But as I found out when I tested, it wasn't the case. Like I showed you some of these results over in HyperTracker too. Remember the version of the lead capture page that led to the most sales was the lead capture page without the headline, just the video. So that's another test. It's pretty telling. And there's a ton of them in here, but this is why split testing is important, because it gives you all of those incremental increases that drive results in your business. And if you're not doing these two practices, tracking and split testing, then you're not really playing the game full out. I have had many mentors, and the best of those mentors, I mean, guys that have ran campaigns that have gone from $0 to $5 million per month, something that I have not done. I will. I'll get there, and I'll say, yeah. And it's just because I split tested and I track stuff. The way that they did that is simple rules like split test and track. And more specifically, when it comes to split testing, there's a rule called the micro macro rule. So in other words, when you split test all the variables individually one at a time. So what that means is if you're going to test anything on any website, just change one thing. If you're going to change the background color, don't change the background color and the headline. Change the background color and then test that versus the control. If you're going to change the headline, leave the background color the same, just change the headline. So one variable at a time. And when you do this first on a small scale, the micro scale. And once you get your campaign converting really well on a small scale, then you can open up your campaign to larger scales of traffic like we've done with CPA networks. And you're pretty assured that you're going to be driving really good conversions because you tested it small, got it out converting the competition there. Now you're opening up big with a lead. So micro macro, this is one of those, that lesson right there that I just shared with you cost me $25,000 to learn. So take it to heart. I know you guys can give me $25,000 for it, so it doesn't feel the same, but it's really that kind of important if you're serious about your marketing. Micro macro, and always test one thing at a time. A/B split testing is all you need to do. There's all different sorts of tests where people will say like multivariate tests and blah blah blah. A/B split test is all you need to do. One version compared to another, which wins. That's all. That's all that matters. Okay. So how do you set up a split test? First off, the cool thing is Google Website Optimizer is absolutely free. So if you go do a Google search for Google Website Optimizer, you'll be able to pull it up, sign up for an account, and use it for absolutely free. If you want to create a split test, and we can do this real quick. I'll create a quick A/B split test for you. Let's say, so I'm going to create 2 pages really quick. So, all right, let me go and find, actually, let me do it this way. So like I said, we're getting ready to put out our solo ad product in the next few weeks as a standalone. And so I'm going back and I'm creating all the different pieces. This is the front end landing page as it is now. Let's say I wanted to split test different versions of this landing page. I'll just save this to my desktop, save page as, solo ad secrets LCP, great. I would go to my favorite HTML editor, like Dreamweaver, and I would click File Open, and I would open up that page that I just downloaded. And let's say I wanted to, remember we tested one variable. Instead of the word free, I wanted to use the word exposed, right? One variable, one change. Let's see which of those two gives us a higher conversion rate. I would save this page as something slightly different. Solo ad secrets 1, save. All right. And then just so we have a page to send stuff to afterwards, we'll just create a quick page called finish. And you'll see why I created these 3 specific pages in just a second. And we'll save this as something different as well. We'll save this as solo ad secrets LCP, done. Click save. And these should all be, as you can see, these are all just sitting here on my desktop. So I'll go over to my trusty FTP program called Transmit here. And I'll take these different versions of that landing page and our finish page, and I'll throw these bad boys in here. We'll go click to apply to all, or apply to all. Oh, I actually did this way. Reconnect. So guys, as you can see, like, there's no magic. I'm sitting here hanging out, doing this stuff with you, and I'm just one dude sitting in a little office. Like, there's no magic here. Like, there's nothing that makes me better than anyone else in terms of this marketing stuff. It's me with a few tools on my computer, playing with stuff, and having a passion for marketing. That's what's cool about what we do. Anyone can be successful. So we have those different pages. We just created really quickly. So this was our original one, remember? Our solo ad secrets other version is this one. It should say exposed. There we go, exposed. It's up on the internet. And then we have our done page. It should just say finish. Done. Okay. So if we want to set up a split test here, we click on our simple A/B split test. We've got our pages created. The first thing is you want to have your 2 different variations of your pages ready to go before you set up your test. You click create, maximum leverage, solo ad secrets, LCP. And we'll put, so we remember what the test is, free versus exposed. In fact, we don't even have to put the maximum leverage there. But this just reminds us at a quick view what we're actually testing. So the only difference on these 2 pages is the word free versus the word exposed, okay? So the original version, all we do is we find that URL. This is our original version. We would put that in here, and then I would name this one exposed. Oh. Page not found. Come on. Okay, so we should be fine here. Page found and page not found. Come on. It's right there. It'll tell you whether or not your page is there. So right. Let's create one more page really quick. Let's open up our I don't know why it's not picking up our main page, but we're quick thinking smart people, so we'll just create a different one with a different name. We'll save it as Solo Ad Secrets LCP2. We'll upload that bad boy over here. There it is, over in the corner. All I need to upload it is just to drag it in there. It should be in there now. And I believe if we go to this web page and we put in the number 2, we should have the same exact page, which we do. So we go back to our website optimizer, and our original is now page 2, and they found it. Good job. And our conversion page, so imagine that lead capture page actually had an opt-in form on it, and after people opted in, they got to the done page, right? That's why I created the finish page where it says finish on it. So just imagine that's what's happening when people get to this page or this page. They opt in and they go to the done page. So they found that page, we're good to go. We click we will install the JavaScript ourselves. We click continue. And then what we do is we put this code right here on our first page immediately after the opening head tag, okay? So I'm going to copy and paste this code. I'm going to use one of these pages just so you can see the code. That's what the code looks like, okay? Now I'm going to go into my FTP program. I'm going to find those Solo Ad Secrets pages that we just put in there. And so the easiest way to do that should be this. Yeah, there we go. So we just changed these today. If we go to Solo Ad Secrets 2, that's our main page. What we want to do is we want to edit it by adding this little code. And remember it said put the code immediately after the head tag. So you see in the source code here, there's the head tag. All we do is add that there. Then we go back. Oh, okay, so we're done with that one. Okay. So we take that, we click save. That's now saved. I can close that one out. On our variation page, actually they've changed this to make it simpler. You used to have to put 2 pieces of code on each page. So they're making improvements. On this one, we take this and we put it after the same place on our other variation. So we go to this Solo Ad Secrets LCP1 page, and we go right here. This just allows me to do this stuff quicker. So put it right in there, click save, we're saved. And then we go to our thank you page, the page they go to after they opt in, and we take this code and we put it in there. So we go back and we find that page really quickly and we edit it with TextMate, which just pulls up a little text document. No, not that one. Okay, hold on. That one. There we go. Okay. Put that code there, we click save. That's now saved. And I go back here and I click validate to make sure that I did everything right. I did everything right. We press continue, start experiment. And just like that, we have a live test. So if you had notes, just like with your tracking notes, you'd put them in there. But we don't have notes. And here's our new test. So we can view our reports and our results just by going here And whenever you send someone to the first page, so for us, this is the first page, what's going to happen is it's going to rotate between the two different variations. Now you see how it just rotated? So every new person that goes there is going to see a different variation of this page. It's going to, now, so let's say Charles goes to this page. Charles is always going to see this version. Let's say Jenny goes to this page. Jenny's always going to see whichever version she sees. But each person, it's going to rotate each version, and it's going to, at the end of the day, bring us back some statistics that's going to tell us which version is better, the word free or the word exposed. Okay? And that's really all there is to setting up a split test. I mean, it's all about being creative. It's all about asking yourself, what haven't I tested? What have I assumed is the way it's supposed to be? And then saying, well, what if it isn't? And then setting up a test. That's all split testing is. The things that you need to split test are things like headlines. That's one of the places where you'll see the biggest increases generally. Background color on your landing pages and sales videos. Length of sales videos, another thing if you're doing videos. And price point. If you've got a product that you're selling, price point clearly is going to dictate your conversions. Now, sometimes you'll find a product will convert virtually the same at two different price points. So if you got a $67 price point and a $77 price point, and the product converts the same at both, you just made yourself $10 on every sale. But you don't know that until you test. So you've got to get the numbers, you've got to split test. Are you guys, do you guys feel good about using this? Because it's not so hard to set up at all. It's just about playing with it a little bit. Yeah, so let me show you guys one actually kind of cool split test that we did as I'm letting you guys respond here. Oh, here it is. So this this is an order form split test, and this is one of those scenarios, not one of those scenarios where there's a trend. That's why I let it go for so much longer. And what I tested was on our maximum leverage order form. So if I go to maximum leverage, actually recruit like crazy / max lev. One. What we did was I tested Harold, this testimonial, versus another testimonial, Tracy. And I wanted to see if using different people saying cool stuff about me got me different results. And what I found out, I actually thought that Tracy was going to win. Because I thought that, you know, guys and girls would rather see a girl talking about some stuff than a guy. And it surprised me that Harold won. And that's why when you look at that page, wherever it was, probably way down here at the end, that's why whenever, you know, I send people to this page, Harold is there. It's because Harold won the split test. He got me more sales. And so you want to test everything. And that's just another example of it. Okay, so guys, I always enjoy these sessions. I've gone through I think the bread and butter, the two most important things that you can do on a daily basis in your business to make it bigger and stronger internally. And we've been going for about 2 hours, a little longer than I expected, but I think we got some good work done. If there's final questions, now is the time to ask them. Otherwise, what I'll do is I'll let everyone adjourn for tonight, and I'll remind you guys that in 2 weeks we have our live question and answer session, and 2 weeks after that we have a session that I'm super excited about because it's something that I've never really shared. I'm actually going to be walking you guys through our entire maximum leverage sales funnel. And it is one of the most badass converting sales funnels out there on the internet. And you guys will see why. I don't just say that because it is. I say it because when I show other people what we do, that are very good marketers, they are flabbergasted. So if you have a information product business of your own, or you're planning to have one, what you find out in that training will make you a lot more money from that business that you either have or you're planning on building. And I think everyone should have an information marketing business. So both sessions, be there. Right now, it's time for final questions. Oh, Tag's question. Tag asked a long time ago, and that was good thing. Thank you for reminding me, Tag. Tag asked at the very beginning, should I just send people to our order form after they opt in, after they watch our sales video or go through my sales letter, or should I create a stepwise order form process? It's up to you. It's something that you should test. We actually don't use this sort of a process anymore, Tag. What we actually do now, there's 2 steps to the order form. This used to be step 1. Now what we basically do is when people go to the letter for maximum leverage, as you can see here,
you're about to discover the ultimate secret.
We got rid of that step and we just have an opt-in there.
Your home business,
I like doing it because it gives me an opportunity to get people's name, email, and phone number in case I want to follow up with them. But, so I'll say that again in case the noise annoyed you. I like to use that process because it gives us our hot prospects' name, phone number, and email address in case we want to call them and to help them through the process or see what lingering questions they may have. And it gives us more selling opportunities. And I'll go through some of those selling opportunities when we go into the ultimate conversion funnel training in 4 weeks from now. But, you know, it's not necessary. We've tested a lot of different things. So I like playing with it because it gives me more space to play with to create more conversions and higher dollar amounts coming into the business. But it's all about testing. So Tag, if you want to use our best practices, then the answer would be create an opt-in and start playing with that space. But there are a lot of successful businesses that are far more successful than ours that don't have that step. So it doesn't make it right or wrong. It just makes it the way that we chose to do business. Do we outsource the calling of prospects? This is a question asked by Charles. No. I mean, if it's that part of the process, it'll either be me or my partner Rob who will call folks and see what they're thinking about. If we were to really go at it hard, maybe we would outsource it, but I don't know. It just depends on the scale of your business. We keep our business kind of small and tight after having some big and not so fun businesses in the past. So it lets us be more hands-on. So we don't, but you could. So guys, final questions on anything that we covered tonight. Going once, going twice, sold. All right, then what I'll ask you guys to do right now, the dashboard, is tell me your biggest takeaway. What are you going to use from this training that you're going to put into your business tomorrow? Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that compliment. Yeah, don't worry about the hand raise function. We don't mess with that. I just like to keep it text because when we go to, a couple people are trying to raise their hand. When you do the audio thing, it just messes up the whole flow. So we stick to text questions. So Charles is revamping his opt-in page. I like it. We'll pull up his opt-in page so everyone can take a quick look at it for fun. What else? What are you guys going to take away? I want to know that our time together was that at least spurred you guys to action.
Hey, this is Charles Kirkley. In the next 90 seconds, I'm going to share with you the secret to create passive residual income online. Now, this formula is used by virtually
Badass. No, I like the landing page, man. I want you, yeah, when you get into those tests, tell me what you find. Jenny's going to set up PPC tracking. Someone asked me if we use PPC. No, we don't use Google anymore, guys. Google kind of shut off our entire industry, so that's a no-go. Bing shut me down a while back, so don't use Bing. So no, man, we're going true direct response marketing style, banners, newsletters, text links, CPA offers. We're ramping up our affiliate program. It's something I've never done. I think it's going to be fun to do. But no PPC for us. William said, I'm like Kobe Bryant of internet marketing. I like it. Thank you. Yeah, Charles is saying he's using 7Search, and I have never used 7Search, embarrassingly enough, for our maximum leverage business, and there's no reason I don't. So I need to get in there and start playing. So Charles, thanks for that reminder. It's a pay-per-click engine as well. So Jenny's on Google. Cool, good for you, Jenny. For us, no going on the Google. Alyasa is gonna pick up HyperTracker. Yeah, man, you should have done that a long time ago. Good. PPV with retargeting. Yep, there you go. PPV is good. I like PPV, but the results tend to be kind of spotty, so I hold back my overall, this is the best thing ever sort of recommendations on it. Oh, give you guys the HyperTracker affiliate link. I don't think HyperTracker even has an affiliate program anymore. Let me see here. Yeah, I think they actually ended their affiliate program. But if we go to Implex, but yeah, guys, if there's no more important questions, no, Scott, man, totally appreciate it. Scott said, "Got to give you credit." I totally appreciate that. If you guys don't have questions, class is over. I'm just checking on a couple things here. Yeah, see, they don't even have HyperTracker as a product anymore. So I would love the commission, but do it up anyway. Appreciate the looking out. Thanks, Scott. Totally appreciate it. Honestly, Mike is saying that HyperTrackers shooting themselves in the foot. Honestly, Mike, they might not be. And the reason is there aren't very many tracking solutions out there that are quality, never go down, and are always available. And HyperTracker has been around long enough that they're probably making, I would wager to say, probably at least $700,000 or $800,000 per month on their customer base, and they're probably still getting customers every day because of people like me saying, "Hey, I use HyperTracker." So I don't know. I don't think they are. But one of the things I was actually thinking about doing was maybe starting a home business where it's all about the product line is autoresponder, tracking, and hosting, but like badass on all of them. Because that's the only way that I would actually create a company. Things that people need every day aren't going to cancel, like pills, potions, lotions, or any other sort of like informational product. and you can really create a strong business long term. So, black box. That's right, Scott. All right, guys. It's been my pleasure. Get out there, kick ass, and I'll see you guys here real soon. By the way, don't forget about the discussion section here in the inner circle. If you've got questions, comments, be sure to hit up the discussion section, and I check on it daily. Not here. Don't post comments here. I actually close comments down because I had a lot of people posting there. You actually go into the discussion section, and in there is where you actually discuss stuff with me. So go in there if you need it. But anyway, just go in there and hang out. I like to see what people are up to. So other than that, guys, that's it. My pleasure. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys here sooner than later. So great night. Talk real soon.